Scoot over here and you're like, well, that one's all plugged up. So that's before and that's after. Bam, wide open airflow. Hi everyone, welcome to Murphy's Law Garage. Today we have, officially for the first time on the channel other than photos, Project Ecoboom here, and we're gonna begin the modifications on this car to start making it faster. Y'all stick around. Ooh, ooh. Oh wait, Jacob, that's the wrong engine.
Okay. And?
It's like small and it's got like little pipes and there's a bunch of them. And
so what I'm hearing is there's lots of room for activities in here, and you just being a little bit whiny about having more room for these activities.
Look, sucker, I know what whining sounds like, and this is a different kind of whining. So yeah, Jacob bought an Ecoboost S650, and that's a little unusual for Murphy's Law Garage and public in general, but not unusual for Jacob because he's the one who had the Elantra in before. What are we going to do with this? Well, clearly in the background where my daughter just ducked and hidden, we have the very fast Whipple supercharged S650. But now we're going to move on also to showing you just what you can get away with one of these Ecoboost cars. Now, what are we doing today? Here's a simple one. This used to be a rental car Ecoboost, we believe, because it's used. We've cleaned the air filter. We've opened the airbox up and sucked up all of the sand from the many beach trips this car has gone on out of the airbox.
Even a cicada.
Even a cicada. And the next thing we want to do is, if you recall, we did this on the GT. I'm going to link a video in the description here where I opened up the intakes on it. Well, this car, rather than having two intake rams on it, has one for live air induction. You see how this is all filled in right here? This is actually limiting the airflow into the active ram air intake into the airbox. So I'm going to show you how to do this on your Ecoboost Mustang so that we have faster IAT recovery, less heat soak, and keep and make more horsepower. Let's do it. And in case you were curious about the Whipple GT, let me show you the difference. You've got one airbox here, you've got one airbox here. There's a pair of tubes going to the grill, and of course two sections. It's actually sectioned off on the GT grill, where you have an active intake here and an active intake there. And you can see mine was also closed off, and I've routed all of the plastic out of it. All right, everyone. So here I am, my feet underneath the Ecoboost, and you could pick up the nose of the car to help with this if you wanted to. But these guys right here, they're the ones that I'm after, opening up these holes. Here's what I'm going to use. I've got a Harbor Freight Dremel with a burr bit in it. And more or less, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to carefully, cutting in at an angle like this and up at an angle like that, cut this plastic. Now, when I say an angle, you need to put your bit in at like a down angle and an up angle up in here, so that you're kind of cutting behind this main support here so that it hides the cut better. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to clean up the plastic edges after, but don't be worried here. You're not going to hurt anything. So ideally I'm going to take all of this out, all of this out, all of this out, all of that out, all of this out, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to feel up in here. Oh yeah, this guy too, and possibly even this one up here. We'll see whether or not that'll look right if I cut that one out, but for sure these guys right here, they're getting out. All right, and you can see there that, like I told you, I'm angling down on this cut. I'm angling up on this cut. Once you get the majority out of the way, you'll be able to come back and then do more cleanup to where the cut is even more aggressively angled down so you can't see the raw edge. You can also, and something I'm also going to do is come back with a like a barrel sanding bit that you can put on the Dremel to kind of clean these edges up. But even if you don't worry about it. As long as you don't go too far past that flat right here and you angle the cut down, you can't see the edge once it's been rolled over. So just kind of be patient with it. I'm gonna go ahead and it's rinse and repeat. I'm gonna open up every single one of these. We're at like 50% airflow right now that can go into this. We're gonna increase it to 100% of all of the airflow that's available without getting rid of the actual grill lines, because some people will actually be as aggressive as to actually cut this whole thing out right here, which looks silly. If you do this right, you can't tell that it's been done. So we're gonna cut all of these out, and I'm gonna bring you back and show you what it looks like rough. You can ask Jacob because he's holding the camera. It's pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it didn't take long at all. I even made a remark.
It's basically a free modification. If you can see here, we've already opened, look, all 4 of these are now wide open. That's a tremendous amount of extra airflow going into that live ram air intake here. And all we've got left to do here is I'm gonna open up these 2. I looked in here, this one wouldn't do anything for you up here, so leave it alone. So now I'm just gonna finish by opening these 2 up. You can see that I've got some scratches where I've accidentally touched things with the Dremel. Don't be concerned about that. There are methods to clean that up and make it look better. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. Now, in the interim here, while I'm letting the Dremel cool down because it makes it hot to cut through plastic like that, one of the common questions I got when I did the GT, the supercharged GT, was, well, isn't that going to let too much rainwater in and hurt the filter? No. The air box is designed so that water separates and drains out of holes in the bottom, so that's a non-problem. The other question I got is, well, what about the air filter? Is that going to let in a bunch of extra dust? The answer is yes. So much as I explained to Jacob, if you live in a dry, dusty place or down a dirt road, even if you don't, your air filter intervals are going to be shortened. You're going to have to pay attention to your air filter more often and make sure it's not too dirty. We live in South Louisiana. It's a wet climate. It's not dusty. It doesn't affect our air filter life at all. Our air filters last a very long time because of our climate. But in a dry, dusty place, or even a wet, dusty place, if that's even a thing, that could be a huge issue. So just pay attention to it. It's going to happen anyways because of the way the intake's made. The only difference is by doing this mod is you are speeding up the rate at which you're going to collect dust and nasty in the air filter. So just pay attention to your air filter. Some people call this snake oil, and they're just wrong. We're not going to go through the trouble of before and after IAT response in his car. I'll have the GT's video linked below. I show you the difference at heat soak and racing the car, you know, doing pulls, how much quicker the IATs recover whenever you open that grill up. So it's worth it. It's coming from someone with a 9-second Mustang. Just do it. It works. It's not snake oil. Replace your filter a little more often. It's a cheap, free modification. You don't have to go buy Dark Horse grill or the RTR grill or whatever to make it work. It just works. And it's kind of sleeper, so it's not super obvious that it's been done. So yeah, I mean, Jake's sitting right here. Does it, even just looking at the rough edges, isn't it like, unless you're looking really close up at it,
It looks like it could be factory.
it looks like it's factory. So it kind of has a sleeper vibe to it, in that it's hard to tell that those modifications have been done. And like I said, I'm gonna make it even better where it's hard to tell that I've cut on it or dremeled on it. Now, if you listen to me, my hands aren't perfectly straight. They shake a little bit, and I'm sure yours will too, or maybe you're better than me, so be it. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm telling you, by the time I'm done with it, someone will have to get on their hands and knees and stare at it to be able to tell that someone dremeled on that grill. And if anyone decides to do that to you in your car, just whack them upside the head and drive away. That's all I got to say. All right, so I've got all of the plastic rough cut, lots of this laying on the ground. And now you can see just how much more open that grill is. If it were a GT, Jacob could stick his hand in there and y'all could see just how wide open that is. But just look in there. You see the light reflecting inside of that ram air tunnel? The one thing I wanted to warn you of is when you're dremeling this one, the corner of the headlight is actually right here, because they have that turn signal running light feature thing that's right here that lights up whenever your turn signals come on. You have to be very careful because the corner of the headlight for that is right here. So just barely penetrate and around that corner. Right, Jacob? Just barely penetrate.
Light penetration only.
Light penetration only.
Use caution. Be safe. Use protection.
Anyways, we're gonna switch bits on that Dremel, and I'm gonna get in here and clean these rough edges up a little more, a sanding bit. And then after that, I'm gonna show you how we make some of this rough plastic edges. See how it looks light colored? There's a secret to making that look better. So now I've got this drum sander on here. It's pretty aggressive. The only reason why I'm using this is all of my other tools have a really small, fine tip on it, and it makes for a really rough cut surface. So all I'm gonna do with this is I'm very lightly gonna stick this in here and drag it across pretty quickly. The hope is to try to smooth the cut surface off, kind of like you see where I did here, where it looks much more uniform. And you see how much rougher these look? So we're just trying to make it look a little more uniform. And then I have this other stone style burr bit right here. It's got a nice cone tip on where I'm gonna come in and clean up some of these rougher edges. Because this has a larger diameter, again, it helps smooth out and contour some of those quick direction changes that tiny little drill bit I was using was making. So a combination of these two is gonna help me clean this up. All right, so I've already used the drum bit and I've gotten in here and I've cleaned up. I've made the edges much more uniform. If you do have an area where you kind of come out and you scar the plastic, you should just go ahead now and use the drum to kind of roll it over. I had a little bit of a situation like that here. So you can see that lightness. Don't be concerned about the lightness. We can hide that, right? What I'm trying to do here is as little on the outside of the grill as possible, but just trying to make all of these cut edges as smooth and uniform as possible. If it doesn't quite look straight enough, you can grab a file. I'll show you a little bit of that before we're done here. And even a little bit of sandpaper on the tip of your finger and kind of smooth it and straighten it out. And then we'll get to the process of hiding it. Now I've got my stone in here. I can't get the drum sander into the corners to clean them up. So that's where the stone is gonna let me really make a nice pretty shape in all of these corners here by working it like that, okay? Let me go ahead and get that done. All right, so the final phase is I got some 220 sandpaper here. And you see how I'm reaching in behind right here? I'm staying away from the face here so I don't scratch this bit up here of the plastic. And I'm smoothing everything out with my finger because my finger's got a nice soft radius. And it lets you kind of get rid of any rough edges that might be there and give everything a nice soft radius as you're cleaning it up. You can see just how much more uniform it looks now that we've passed the different stones on it and stuff like that. You can get that entire Dremel kit I got from Harbor Freight. It's cheap. It's like 40 bucks. And I think it came with all of those bits. And then like they've got extra bit kits on the side of it that are literally pennies on the dollar. So if you get you one of those Dremel kits, it's useful for a whole bunch more things than just doing grills if you're worried about it. But I'm going to keep at this where I'm basically cleaning up all of these rough edges. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how we fix some of this this lighter, more perturbed area. This is raw plastic. On the GT bumper grill, this is painted, which is both better and worse at the same time, because first you're trying really hard not to scratch the paint. But at least if you do, you can take a black paint pen and fix it. Because this is raw plastic, you got to be careful because there's only so much touch up I can do on it and it's still going to show some. So that's all I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep cleaning this up and we'll bring you back when I show you one of my secrets to helping hide any scratches you might have made on it. All right, so I've got two things here. I've got a Tester's enamel paint pen. This is a flat black, right? So this is pretty flat black. It's more like a flat dark gray, but the plastic is more like a flat black. And then I have a heat gun. There's one of two ways you can do this. Either use a heat gun or use a torch. If you're going to use a torch, you should tape the entire surrounding area off and be careful not to apply heat too much to too many of the other surfaces. But the secret to getting a lot of this plastic to relax and become more uniform in color is to apply heat to it. Now this would kind of naturally happen because, well, it's hot as crap in front of the radiator on the car. But if I take this heat gun in, and Jake's going to come in pretty close, I want you to see the transformation happen in person. So Jake, focus in right here where you see I've got a bunch of buffeting and scratching going on. Can you see that?
Yep.
And now you don't want to make the plastic liquid here. You're just literally moving around and watching the color change. So I'm going to keep moving around right here. Keep moving around right here. Check the temperature of the plastic. We're still okay. Keep moving around right here. And if there's any stragglers, this will also catch any stragglers of plastic at the same time. So it won't be drastic only because this is really, really, really high temperature plastic. It is designed to take a tremendous amount of heat abuse, but it does get just a couple of shades darker. Like if it's not a super high temp plastic, you can make it look perfect again without seeing any of it. But the really light gray spots will just kind of magically disappear. And I don't know how well the camera's gonna show it, especially since it's getting dark outside. But Jacob is sitting next to me and he can see this happening in person. Jacob, can you see those really light spots darkening up as I warm them?
I can see a little bit of it. I mean, it looks like I get to see like the heat spots from the heat gun kind of smooth everything out.
That's right. And you gotta be really careful not to get it too hot. You'll kind of see the surface ripple, and you just need to immediately cool it down and pull the surface and it'll smooth back out again. But remember, you cannot be a hero with this because all we're trying to do is to darken it. It will not return back to perfect, but it'll get a lot closer. And for the more stubborn stuff, I've got that paint pen to help make it a little darker. It's important to move around a good bit. Be careful not to overheat the plastic. Like I said, you can get some rippling. If you do get that, you can take your sandpaper and lightly touch the plastic and warm it again and it'll come back. Just be really careful, like touch it and see if it's too hot for your finger to touch and it's too hot. And then keep moving around a bit until you've got about as much of that light color out of there as you think you can get. And then we're gonna come back in with the paint pen. So the paint pen, I'm just gonna apply gently. I'm even gonna rub it around with my fingers, kind of get in there like I'm playing with it and just kind of darken those edges so that they're not as obvious. What's that face, Jacob?
You're just gonna play with it just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
Not a moderate amount, not a increasingly moderate amount, just
You're about to find out, buddy.
Oh, geez.
And of course, the last thing I'm gonna do here is I've got some graphene detail spray. And I'm gonna wipe the surface all down. Like I said, I've used my paint pen. I've played with it with heat for a little while and changed the temper of the plastic a bit. But that's it. Now, the more steady and the more careful you are with this, the better result. If this was a $80,000 car, I might have pulled the grill off and done this on the workbench from the inside, very, very gently and ever so perfectly. But no offense to the Eco Bros, but this is a base model Ecoboost, and Jacob's going to end up putting a like a RTR, Dark Horse style grill in it anyways to get the snorkels in the corners. We just want it to improve the airflow now and demonstrate to you just how quick and effective something like this is. If you're very careful, the result looks really good. You can see here just how wide open this is. And is it perfect? No. But let me tell you, I am very close to the car right now. Like, look, this is the distance between you and the camera. It's like 8 inches.
Not even.
If I do like this, if I'm at the normal walking height, you can't tell. Someone's really got to get their face in there to see that there is a not quite factory edge on that inside corner. So what do you think, Jacob?
I'm very happy with the outlook. Whenever I stood up, I'm like, man, you can't even tell that anything was done.
Yep.
It looks like it came that way from the factory. I'm honestly impressed.
It looks like it belongs there, but then you scoot over here and you're like, well, that one's all plugged up. So that's before and that's after. Bam, wide open airflow. What was that, Jacob?
Wide open. It's very good use of words.
It is. It's wide open. We've penetrated the force field of airflow into the intake.
And then it became busted wide open.
Busted wide open.
Yes.
Anyways, thank y'all for watching the video. Like I said, if you want to see some data on this, look at the GT video below that I'm going to link. And thank you for watching. As usual, we love you. God bless. Peace.